Ilhan Omar got sprayed with some foreign substance and acted like nothing even happened. I think she faked it. Let's talk about it. All right, so Congresswoman, and I say that loosely, Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, our favorite Somali representative there, she was giving a speech yesterday, and someone came up and sprayed her with some unknown substance. It was described as being something of a foul odor. And let's just watch it. Now, you've probably seen the clip at this point. This was a setup. I'm just telling you this was a setup. And I'll tell you why this was a setup. But first, I tell you what, let's take a look at the clip here. And let's just watch it for ourselves. Okay, here she is. She's about to give this speech. And
Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Fight him.
I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
No, we'll go.
No, we will continue.
No. Ilhan, you need to go get checked.
No, we will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it.
You need to go get checked. No, you don't know what you're doing. That's whatever it is smells so bad. She needs to go get checked. I don't know what that was.
That's what they want. Please don't let them know.
It's not about him, Ilhan. It's not about him. It's about your safety. No, he sprayed something on you. You need to go get checked. Yeah, and it smells terrible.
Here is the reality that people like this ugly man don't understand. We are Minnesota strong. Secretary Kristi Noem.
Right, so this, there it is in all of its glory. You can go back and watch the clip yourself again and look at the little detail from another angle. She actually makes eye contact with the guy before he comes up and sprays her. And then everybody is cleverly mic'd to say the right things about how this is not about that. Ilhan, you need to go get checked. You need to go. All right, let me just tell you the whole deal was staged. The whole deal was staged. I just, you know what? Maybe this will come back to bite me at some point in time, but I'll just tell you why. It's based on protocols. Not only would they have evacuated her, they would have evacuated the entire room. Think about the world we're living in. Let me slow it down for you, because the details actually matter. If you got a sitting member of Congress who gets sprayed with an unknown substance in public by someone close enough to reach her, that's not a protest. That's not an incident. That's a potential attack. And there is exactly one normal response to that situation. You stop everything. She doesn't get to make the choice in this. You stop everything. You secure the person. You secure the room. You figure out what just happened. They didn't do any of that. Now, I don't want any harm to befall anybody, but she didn't act like any harm was coming her way. That's not what happened here. Instead, she stayed put. She stayed on the stage. She kept on talking. No protective detail took her away. There was no evacuation of the rest of the room. They just tackle this guy. There's no medical interruption to at least check things out. There's no visible concern for the people who are sitting 5 feet away who might also have been exposed to something. There's no hazmat protocol, no urgency. Just a pause, and she says, I need a napkin. A napkin? And she's right back to the script with an opportunity basically to be able to say, this is what we Minnesotans do. We fight. Now, if that doesn't raise some eyebrows, maybe you shaved them off like Whoopi, okay? Because real attacks don't come with a green room timeout and a smooth continuation. Real attacks cause chaos, okay? This wasn't that. Real attacks trigger muscle memory in security teams. Real attacks don't politely wait for her to continue the rest of her speech. So now ask yourself this. If you're sprayed with an unknown substance, would you keep on talking? Would you tell the room, don't worry, let's just carry on? Would your security detail allow that? Or would they physically move you whether you liked it or not? The answer is obvious, folks. When Trump got shot in Butler, Pennsylvania, they took him, they moved him and got him out of the scene. Not any of that happens And all they are just going to say, well, Ilhan, we got to get you checked out. She's just going to go on with the speech. Cameras are still rolling. The microphones are still on. All the narrative stays clean, right? Doesn't look like danger. It looks like theater. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I reserve that right to be wrong. Doesn't mean nothing happened. It means what happened was never treated as a threat by the people who were there and trained to recognize threats for a living. Security teams don't take chances. They don't gamble on her vibes. They assume the worst case scenarios because that's how you keep people alive and safe. If they didn't respond that way, it's because they weren't alarmed, which means, let me just lead it to an uncomfortable conclusion. Either the substance was not unknown to the people in charge or it was never considered dangerous in the first place. And if that's true, then calling it an attack after the fact is not about safety. That's about optics, Ilhan. It's about the headlines. It's about elevating a moment into a narrative that serves a greater purpose. I'll tell you in a minute what that is. Because real danger shuts the room down. Real danger doesn't get a press release before it gets a perimeter. She doesn't get to go back to the microphone and make a statement like that. She doesn't know what she was sprayed with. Now, when the response looks rehearsed, like to me this does, go back and watch. She makes eye contact with the guy, almost a signal right before she gets sprayed. When it looks rehearsed instead of reaction, when the threat level is announced instead of demonstrated, people are allowed to ask questions. I'm not being cruel here. It's not about partisanship. And I'll tell you why in a minute. It's just freaking common sense. If it was real, then it would have looked real. Now, Ilhan Omar is currently being accused by political opponents of potential financial impropriety. She's under investigation related to wealth and possible connections at the edges of a larger fraud probe in Minnesota to the tune of billions of dollars, not to mention her personal worth going up by tens of millions of dollars. A lot of stuff there stinks, and I'm not talking about the foul stuff that's got sprayed on her, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you what this looks like to me in a minute. I want you to tell you, first of all, about my friends over at Birch Gold. Text Chad to 989898. Some of your future, your retirement, some of your investments needs to be backed by physical gold, needs to be backed by physical gold and silver. You need to. And I'm telling you, A+ rated, Better Business Bureau, Birch Gold can help you do that. They'll send you a free no obligation information kit, and they will tell you how to diversify a tax sheltered IRA backed by physical gold. So that old 401k, that old IRA, whatever it is sitting there, savings account, you're sitting there, back it up with gold. Look what gold and silver is doing. It's gone through the roof. If you'd have listened to me a year and a half ago, if you'd have just listened to me, it's not done climbing. Text CHAD, Chad, to 989898. Let Birch Gold help you out. All right, listen closely. If someone, allegedly, were trying to cover up fraud, let me tell you, the single biggest enemy they would face is focus. What are people focused on? Because the paper trails don't disappear on their own. Investigations gain momentum when the public, the press, and the political opponents, and they stay locked on one story long enough to demand answers. It's all about the focus. So see, the play here is not always to disprove the allegation. Sometimes the play is to replace the headline. A dramatic incident does that instantly. So when an elected official is portrayed as a victim, the conversation is going to shift. Instead of talking about subpoenas or financial irregularities or fraud or conflicting testimony, the media starts talking about safety. And Minneapolis is already embroiled as a hotbed of just problematic issues right now because of the riots, the protests, the ICE agents, everything else. And here's Ilhan. They're going to start talking about threats and extremism and all this kind of stuff. The congresswoman is no longer on defense. Now they're on sympathy footing. She got attacked. See, victimhood changes the way everybody around them views the situation. So now the reporters are going to soften because now she's a victim. She was attacked. Critics are now going to warn to tread carefully. She was attacked. Allies around her are going to circle the wagons, and the questions that were fair yesterday suddenly get framed as insensitive today. So anyone who keeps pressing is accused of piling on or exploiting her trauma, and that buys her time. Time matters when documents are being reviewed and witnesses are being interviewed, narratives are being shaped behind the scenes. Even a few days of redirection attention can slow the momentum of the focus, fracture the public interest, allow legal teams to regroup. And listen, there's a psychological advantage as well. When you have an official that continues speaking after this alleged incident, it sends a message of resolve and courage. That's what she said. We're going to keep on fighting. That image can be replayed endlessly. It becomes a symbol, and symbols are powerful shields. She's hiding behind it. People defend symbols more fiercely than they defend facts. And most importantly, it reframes the motive. Instead of asking, why were these financial decisions made, the public is encouraged to ask, why would anybody target her? So the burden subtly shifts from explaining actions to condemning opponents. Scrutiny becomes persecution. Investigation becomes harassment. And hypothetically, that's the benefit. Not because it erases evidence, it doesn't, but because it dilutes the attention and the focus. It reorders the priorities, and it changes the emotional frame through which everything else is viewed. And in politics, emotion outruns documentation and facts, which is why moments that look like danger but don't trigger real danger responses invite skepticism like I have, because real threats trigger protocols. Optics trigger narratives. Narratives are currency when the truth is inconvenient. This to me looks like a narrative. Okay. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit like and you share it. Okay. Give us your comments down below. Agree, disagree. I'd love to hear from you, but let me hear from you. Okay. The Chad Prather Show and Before the Noise. Go to where podcasts are offered. Leave us a 5-star rating and a review. And do not forget, check out our friends over at Birch Gold. Text Chad to 989898. Is it fake? Is it real? I'd love to have that question answered. Let me know. I love y'all. God bless you. Until next time. Don't get anything sprayed on you.